Satnam, Satnam. So sometimes when the topic of sadhana comes up, I hear students start to go, oh, but it's so hard. And do we really need to do sadhana in the Amrit Vela in the early hours of the morning before dawn, 2.5 hours before dawn at least? Well, sadhana, sadhana discipline, spiritual practice is tough to start with. I would go so far as it wouldn't really be sadhana when you're a beginner if it wasn't challenging, because it's like working muscles that you've never used before. It's going to feel challenging, and that is the work. What is it about that it is in the early hours of the morning? Well, there are a couple of ways of looking at it. Very sattvic time, very saintly time, when there's quietness, when there's less interference, where you can most easily tune into your highest expression of yourself and your higher self, God, yourself, your highest expression of yourself within and beyond you. And then equally, it's a time where the subconscious and unconscious is most ripe for cleaning. So it would be great if sadhana was just like any old time, but then any old time is the time when mind wants. And sadhana in the Amrit Vela is the time when God wants, when the divinity in you can talk to you most clearly. If you do your practice, your sadhana regularly at this time, just like any regularity in your life, certainly if you think of the sun appearing to come up at the same sort of time, the earth rotating on a particular axis, the light rotating around the earth, things that happen with a rhythm and a regularity, also with your yoga movements in your kriya. It gives the body a wonderful feeling that it feels safe. If you bathe yourself regularly, you become cleaner and cleaner on the outside of the body. If you wash your clothes regularly each week, iron them nicely, then cleanness comes to your environment. And the same with your meditation practice. If you start each day and indeed punctuate throughout the day, could also sasa, through every breath, the remembrance and coming back to the divine within you and within everybody, having a regular remembrance. But certainly in terms of sadhana, starting your day, every day, with the remembrance of divinity, that you are a divine being, a soul having a spiritual experience. This sets you on the right track for the rest of your day. And if it's somehow sometime later in your day, okay, no problem, it's great. At least you got some practice in. But if you start your day, then you're setting your intention. This is what my day will be about. It will be particularly special. It will be aligned. It will be aligned to Satnam, to truth, your true identity. And if you are aligned to your true identity from the start of your day, then whatever you do through the day has the potential to also be that. 2.5 hours is also not by accident 10% of your day right at the beginning dedicated to your soul, to the self. A true luxury. Sometimes I hear students saying, but I don't have time for this. I live such a busy life and I've got family and I've got work. Well, actually, if you give this time to yourself, you give this savor to yourself, then actually you will find, maybe not at first, and maybe it'll take years and decades, it may be a terrible trouble at the beginning, and for quite some time, a really extraordinary challenge. But then you do what you can, little by little by little, even if you get up one breath, Satnam, I come back to and remember myself, and that's your sadhana for the day, a magical sadhana, a tiny drop in an ocean that feels overwhelmingly challenging for you. Fine, great. Not to go into negative mind. What can happen, however, is that sadhana is instead lying down, groaning and complaining and going, oh, I can't get up for sadhana, I don't have the energy. And then what happens is that gets dumped into the subconscious. Oh no, I can't. So whatever you do, even if you're lying down resting, sometimes I say to myself, okay, God, you're all about me. So if I lie down, just that is going to be, you know that as vertical too. Let that be my vertical for today. Sometimes a little bit magical and a little bit naughty, but, and no buts. Sadhana, 2.5 hours in the Amrit Vela, really japji, kriya, and a full 62 minutes of mantra is a great inspiration and aspiration. Let's give that to ourselves and give that to the world and student, and if you're a teacher, any students, not to say that, oh, it's not possible for me, therefore we should reduce it and make it less. Reduce it down to something smaller and then pass that on to future generations too. No, we want to keep our legacy and the golden chain pure, so we pass on something that maybe feels almost impossible for many today. But you never know, sadhana aradhana prabhupati, where something that is challenging today through the miracle of Guru Ram Das and our lineage, it may be that tomorrow or later today or in the next breath, our sadhana that has been a challenge for whole of our lives, suddenly sahej, it becomes smooth and an easy flow. It becomes peaceful and a joy. And maybe it has been decades and it was just too difficult and you're really exhausted always, but you just don't give up on it. And then, pop, the miracle, it becomes a grace and you can just do it with ease. And it may also be that it is always a challenge for you, but through your day, you reap so many benefits, so many benefits. You just feel more aligned. And then, isn't that challenge worth it? So this is just an invitation to never give up on sadhana, never give up on the possibility of sadhana, spiritual discipline. And remember that if you do your sadhana practice, your discipline, it's not meant to be a beating yourself over the head, bash, I can't do this right, I'm failing somehow, I'm doing it wrong. No, doing whatever sadhana, whether it's 1 minute or 2.5 hours or even longer, with love in your heart. Keep coming back to love in your heart and make it an offering to everybody, to those you love, to the relationships that you find super challenging. Say, may I dedicate my sadhana to having a healing and loving relationship with myself and with my family, with those that I really struggle to communicate with. And then it gives sadhana a good meaning, a good intention. It directs it to your highest good and the good of all. I pray that this little sharing today on sadhana gives you some inspiration when sadhana feels too impossible and when you're starting to flag in inspiration. Or perhaps you've never done sadhana before and you just think, what is that? I would like to join in. Well, we share sadhana online Wednesdays and Saturdays, and you're most welcome to come and join in and participate in it if you would like to, love to. Satnam, Satnam, Satnam.